lovelies, I'm glad to have you back on my channel. In this video I'm sharing with you how I made a beautiful bridal shower cake without using complicated baking tools, cake decoration tools. This is a basic fondant, just plain fondant that I added red food coloring. If you want to get pink color, then you use red food coloring on the white, of course, or should I say cream fondant. If you want the red to pop, then you might need to add really bold. We're not going to discuss color in this video. But this is a pink cake, so I added some red color food coloring to the white fondant, and that's how I got the color. So I mixed and mixed and mixed very well until the color came together. Usually when you're doing cake decoration, you need a lot of tools, and it's really useful to have tools because it makes your life easier and it reduces the time frame in which you present your cake or you decorate your cake. This one came in from a friend, my sister's friend. She just placed an order. I bake and do decoration as side hustle, by the way. So this came in as an emergency. I don't do it full time, so I don't get to have these things ready. Especially I had not done this kind of bridal shower cake before. So what I did was, when I got this order, I just went online to get ideas of really simple cake decoration for bridal shower, of course, that I could use that will not eat so much time, that won't consume so much time, of course, that is going to be doable in a very short time, because I didn't really have all the tools that I needed for this particular cake decoration. Okay, so I've rolled out all that fondant that I properly mixed, and then we're going to place this on the cake, which is a round shaped cake that I made. And I'll be sharing another video or more videos with you on how to get this done. I know these pictures may not really make a lot of sense, but I just want to share it anyways. So if you want me to share something like that, or a video where I do this, please let me know in the comment section below. So the idea is really to place this rolled fondant on the cake, and then gently, gradually, starting from the top, making sure that you don't have any bubbles or of course, dents or anything like that, to get the perfect fondant cake. When you have your cake and you have small koro or some dents inside, or trimmed it and you think it's not level or anything of that nature, what you want to do is first to coat it with butter icing. You want to coat it first and then freeze it so that it can sit, it can hold, or it can freeze a little bit before you go ahead to place this fondant on it. That way you get a perfect formed decoration. Your fondant to be flawless and it just appears really clean. And then there's a tool that you use for smoothing fondant. You can use that also to help smoothing your fondant. I use that in this tool. I think that's about the only tool that I used in this fondant. And of course, when you finish placing your fondant on the cake, you want to trim off the excess sides. How you choose to trim off depends on you. Sometimes some people prefer to place the entire fondant on the cake board, and then that's cover the cake plus the board, while others prefer to just cover the cake and then leave the board. They may decide to write on the board, or they may decide to just leave the board plain, that manner. And this is the leftover. Of course, this is the picture I shared with you earlier of the white fondant. So using the leftover of this cream, not white, fondant, I will be adding I won't add any coloring, but I'll just be rolling this out just to get the shape that I want it. I'm going to be rolling out in the this is the thickness of this one is going to be lighter than the thickness of the pink fondant, because the pink one is really to cover the cake, and I needed some thickness to be able to make sure that it doesn't break or it doesn't, sag when I'm covering the cake. But this one is thinner because it's not carrying any weight. It's not going to be anything complicated. So I've rolled it out. I just used regular rolling pin. No decoration on the rolling pin because I don't need that decoration on this fondant. So I've just rolled it out to the side, to the thickness that I need, and I'm going to be cutting this, trimming, or should I say trimming or cutting, yeah, whatever is the case. Okay, so I've trimmed it to the shape that I want, to close, relatively close to the size that I want the cake to be. No, not the cake. I want to make a gown from this fondant, something that looks like a gown. And how I intend to do this is to roll the fondant. I've rolled the fondant to give me to something similar, and I'm going to use my imagination for the rest of it. Imagination is what I'm going to be using since I'm not having any cutter. If I had a cutter with this, since I've rolled this fondant out, all I need to just do is just to place my cutter on it and then get it rolling. I mean, just place the cutter, trim it, and cut what the shape that I want, and then get rid of the excess sides. But you see, this is what I did with just a rolling pizza cutter now. Pizza cutter you use for cutting pizza. I also use my pizza cutter for making chin chin. It makes it easy for me, instead of having to use knife to cut my chin chin one by one by one by one. I'll just use the rolling roller cutter. It's also called pizza cutter or a roller cutter. I use it to make my chin chin making easy. Once I roll the chin chin dough on a flat surface, I'll just use the roller cutter, vim van, then cut the shape that, the size, and of course the shape that I want. You won't get a perfect shape, by the way. All of them will not be uniform, but that's what works for me. So really, is using this rolling pin. Yes, this is actually, yeah, this is actually the how it looks before I removed the excess sides. This is the roller cut I talked about, and this is, yes, I just used the roller cutter, made a semi, it's not a straight line on the top, just I curved it a little bit to look like a slim, or just slide like that, and then use my imagination to cut up something like, looks like a gown on each side. That's how I was able to get the shape. For those of us that may be wondering how I was able to achieve that without a cutter, yes, I use a roller cutter or a pizza cutter. So with this now, with the roller cutter, with the gown, the wedding gown in this case, now I've placed, with the aid with the help of my, of course, my paste, which is water with baking water with of course powdered sugar. I've been able to, water with flour, sorry, water with flour. I've been able to make my paste to be able to allow this sit on this cake. If I didn't have that, water could also work fine. I just use it to place it so that it sits on the edge of the cake, at the corner of the cake, so I could have room for other write-ups that I need to do on the cake. And then yes, I made some round balls using, I was able to cut out these shapes using the nozzle for regular piping, the nozzle that you use for piping cakes on regular basis. I just use them to cut out these shapes after I had colored a portion of the fondant. After coloring a portion of fondant, I just use the bottom of the nozzle to cut out these shapes, and then use my hand to roll the ball, roll whatever I cut out into ball like shapes, so that I could get them at least to uniform as possible before I get to put them on the cake. Yeah, that's what I did. And then here I've placed them, I've placed them around the cake. I trimmed the pink color, but I left the cake board. I didn't I didn't include the cake board as part of what I was covering. Even this gown, I'll be trimming off the excess of the gown, that part, bottom side. Yes, and also use the back side of my knife to make these lines on the fondant, on the pink fondant, so that it doesn't look so plain, or should I say so bland. Yes, so I use the bottom part of the knife to do this, the not the sharp side of the knife, the blunt part of the knife. Yes, I just use it to I just press it against the cake to help it stay, to form that design on it. And then here I just used my knife again, regular knife, to make this beautiful letters. I didn't use a letter cutter for this, by the way. I just used knife. Yes, knife all the way. And then I put this what's it called, sprinkles. Yes, just basic silver colored sprinkles I used to place on the tip of this gown, so that it appears like, beaded gown kind of look. And of course I did the same thing on the bottom side as well. I know the letters are a bit bold, it looks a bit weird, but yeah, this is how I rolled with this cake. I know it's not a perfect cake, it doesn't look perfect in any way, but it worked for me, right? It worked for me, and I got a really great feedback. If you this doesn't look so professional, like, so I ended up adding more beads to the bottom, by the way, because now it looks like something that we're managing. But I ended up adding more beads to this cake to make it look more decent. Yes, for those of us who are learning how to make cakes, it might look so complicated and difficult, but if you get the hang of it, if you're able to understand how to roll this fondant, and of course you have creative ideas, you're on the creative side, it's something that you can do very easily. It's a lot of work decorating cakes. I tell people the work in cake is not even the making of the cake, it's in the decoration. That's where the whole energy and all the creativity goes to. Once you're able to understand how to bake a cake, then you can always switch from one type of cake to another cake. Is always easier that way once you've gotten the hang of it. It's just like somebody who is trying to learn mathematics. Once you know 1 plus 1 plus minus minus, or plus times minus, once you get the basis and know what the answers are, then it's easier for you to apply it in all of the other things you're doing. So to get the cake shining, I used a little bit of butter or shortening to just give the glossy, to make it some glossy, because sometimes when you're rolling the fondant and with that powdered sugar, sometimes you could get a lot of whitish. Of course, that is because it's white powdered sugar and it's white. It gets to appear on the cake, and it makes the cake look a bit dusty and not looking so presentable eventually. So you want to dust it, you can use the cake duster to dust it, or you can just use some shortening to just brush it away so that it looks bright and attractive. Yes, that's how the cake story went. So if you like this video, I've shared some videos too in the before now on some basic cake decoration ideas, like one I made for my daughter and another one. So I'll be sharing videos like this. If you like these kinds of videos, please subscribe to my channel, and of course give me a thumbs up if you like this video, and then share with your friends. I'll be seeing you guys in another video. Until then, stay safe. Remember to stay safe and be good. Till I see you in another video, guys. Bye.